Never stop reading the Bible. Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we are diving deep into the words of a prophet from thousands of years ago, but man, his message is as sharp and relevant as ever. We are talking about the book of Amos. And we're going to really focus in on the first 4 chapters of his book. This is where Amos just comes out swinging, laying the groundwork for a message of divine justice that, trust me, starts in a place no one saw coming. So to get this, you got to picture the world Amos walked into. He was prophesying during the reign of King Jeroboam II. And from the outside looking in, things were good. I mean, really good. It was a golden age. But that's the whole paradox, isn't it? Outwardly, Israel was killing it. They were wealthy, their military was strong, business was booming. It was the picture of success. But if you peeled back that shiny exterior, whoa. It was a total spiritual dark age, just rotting from the inside out with moral corruption and injustice. And it's right into that world that Amos brings his message. Now here's where it gets interesting. Amos doesn't start by calling out his own people. Nope. He starts with this wide, sweeping circle of judgment that targets all of Israel's neighbors first. He just goes right down the list, one by one. Damascus, you're on notice. Gaza, your time is coming. Tyre, Edom, all of them. He systematically calls out every kingdom surrounding them. And you can just picture the Israelites hearing this, probably high-fiving each other, thinking, yeah, finally, our enemies are going to get what's coming to them.
And he uses this incredible rhythmic phrase over and over again for each nation. It's like a drumbeat of doom. This isn't a maybe. It's a formal, unstoppable, divine verdict. It just builds and builds the sense of inevitable justice.
So you might be asking, what did they do wrong? I mean, they didn't have God's law, right? And that's the key point here. They weren't being judged on a religious technicality. They were being judged for violating the basic common sense laws of human decency, for war crimes, for cruelty, for just being terrible to other human beings. It's a standard that applies to everyone, everywhere. Okay, so just as the people of Israel are feeling pretty good about themselves, maybe even a little smug, Amos pulls the rug right out from under them. The circle of judgment doesn't stop at their border. It keeps going, and the camera lens pivots and points directly at them. I mean, can you imagine? You've just heard all your enemies get called out for judgment. You're feeling secure, maybe even a bit righteous. And then Amos drops the bombshell question. Okay, what about you? And this is the brilliant, brutal heart of his argument. There are 2 different standards here. The other nations, they were judged by that universal moral law we all know in our gut. But Israel and Judah, oh, they were being judged by a much higher standard, the specific covenant law God had given them. They had the playbook. They knew better. And because of that, they were going to be held way more accountable. And the charges against them, they were specific and they were devastating. They were crushing the poor. The justice system was a joke, completely corrupt. Their businesses were built on cheating people. And maybe the worst part, their religion was just for show. All these pious ceremonies that covered up hearts that had totally forgotten the God who had saved them over and over. Now, as you can guess, this message did not make Amos popular. So why on earth would he say all this? Well, in chapter 3, he basically says, look, I don't have a choice. This isn't his idea. It's a divine command. He lays out this simple, powerful logic. He says, hey, if a lion roars right next to you, are you not going to be afraid? Of course you are. It's an instinctual reaction. And in the exact same way, he says, when the sovereign Lord speaks, who can possibly keep silent? You have to deliver the message. So what Amos is saying isn't his hot take on the political situation. It's not an opinion piece. For him, it is a divine imperative. He's just the messenger. And when the message is this urgent, you don't get the option of staying quiet. Then, in chapter 4, Amos makes it clear that this final judgment isn't some surprise attack. It's actually the absolute last resort. He starts listing all the warnings God had already sent, all the chances the people had to wake up and turn back. He lays it all out like a prosecutor. He says, remember that famine? That was a warning. Remember the drought when no rain fell? Another warning. The plagues that wiped out your crops, the wars you lost, all of them were wake-up calls from God. And after mentioning each and every one of these disasters, Amos repeats this absolutely gut-wrenching line from God's perspective. Yet you did not return to me. You can feel the sorrow in it. The warnings were sent time and time again, but nobody was listening.
See, what did the people do in response to all these national emergencies? While the rich and powerful just kept on living their lives of luxury. They didn't change a thing. They kept going to church, so to speak, but their hearts were a million miles away.
And because every other warning shot was completely ignored, Amos delivers the final, terrifying verdict. There are no more chances, no more wake-up calls. The next meeting is going to be face-to-face. He says simply, prepare to meet your God. So, these first few chapters of Amos really leave us wrestling with this huge question. It's about privilege and responsibility, about what real worship looks like, but at its core, it forces us all to ask ourselves, what happens when the warnings are ignored? Thanks for joining this explainer from the Center Studio.